Hi, it's Corrine. I haven't been around in a while. I've been quite busy and also quite a bit upset, I suppose. The election really made me very upset, and I'm not going to get into that, but it made my work harder, and it made everything a lot harder. And I think more than anything, what it did was just kind of make me want to feel safer, just want to feel more insulated, maybe a little more isolated, just kind of find a safe place to be emotionally. I have a hard time turning on the news these days, and I mean, as an INFJ, I think we're all kind of, pretty bothered by a lot of the stuff on the news, and so I've decided to just kind of turn it off. I also had a pet die, which wasn't good. My orange and white cat that you saw in the last video, he was only 8 years old and he died suddenly of a heart attack, and that was sad. So we had some sad times, but it's winter, as you can see, and it's beautiful here. I love winter. This is my favorite time of year, so that makes me really happy. And today is Imbolc, or also known as Candlemas, or St. Bridget's Day, and also, I guess, Groundhog Day Eve. So it's the 1st of February, and I think February is probably my favorite month. And because we're done with all the busyness of Christmas, and it's still winter, and there's still all the beautiful snow, and you can still enjoy winter, but the days are getting longer. So I love February. I just think it's really pretty here. And what I've been working on mostly is just finding some sort of emotional comfort. I was thinking about the fact that there's both physical comfort and emotional comfort. So physical comfort, where your needs are being met, where your basic needs are being met, where you have food on your plate and you have medical care and you have a roof over your head. But then there's also emotional security, where you feel like people understand you, that you can be your authentic self and be okay with that. And I realized, like, the one thing I had growing up, like, I had physical security with my family of origin, but I never had emotional security. I never really quite felt okay being who I was. And I realize now that I think emotional security, between the two of them, emotional security is really more important than the physical security. And so I'm, working on that, working on really finding my own emotional security, working on inner child healing, which I'm reading more and more on that. I think that's really important. And, and also just finding sort of that reparenting is important. And just the imagination of sort of a soothing mother, a soothing parent, bringing in that feeling of emotional security so that I can feel really comfortable in the world. Sometimes I wish I could just live, on top of a mountain somewhere in, like, a monastery type of place. Sometimes that's the sort of thing I dream about. And, you can also make that in your own mind, like, your reality doesn't have to be a certain place. Your reality can be within your own mind. So if I want to make my home my own sanctuary, I can make my home my own sanctuary. Being self-employed, which I really think is the best employment for INFJs, that ability to sort of pull back from the world, I find really important. And so, when I need that comfort zone, I can find that comfort zone. So, this isn't very long so far. I guess I don't have a whole lot to say. I feel bad I haven't talked in a while. But I think what I'm doing, I also love winter because of it's like a contemplative time. I remember one of the my favorite times was our we live in a place where sometimes the electricity goes out, and so the electricity went out, so we didn't have our heat. So we have a really nice wood stove. So and we had run out of firewood, so I was going into the woods to gather some firewood, and this was several years ago, but it was snowing. And I remember every time I would walk into the woods, from the yard into the woods, and I would get this incredible sense of peace that would just come over me. So one thing I love about winter is just that real sense of peace, that sort of contemplative time of the year. So, and that's good. And I think the other thing, I don't know if it's being INFJ or Empath or HSP, but I feel a real connection to nature. If you stick me in the middle of a city, I'm like ready to get out of there in a day. It might be interesting for one day, but I want to get out of there. I feel a real comfort with woods and trees, and because of that, I've started really kind of looking at the nature religions as well. I look at the Wheel of the Year. Today is Imbolc, which is a cross-quarter day. I like the thought of, Mother Earth as a loving mother. And, I suppose, I grew up not really religious, but certainly, more Christian than anything else. And I've gone to Christian churches before, and I enjoy Christianity. I like it. The one thing I think is hard for me is with Christianity is maybe that feeling of sacrifice. Because as a codependent, I'm sacrificing everything anyway. So sometimes I think it's not the best, way to think for somebody who's already putting everybody else first. But the thing I like the nature religions is just sort of that feeling of going along with the rhythm of the earth and the rhythm of the seasons, and thinking and about the birth of the sun and death of the sun, and the intention for the new year. That always gives me a real comfort. And of course, the other religion I think I sort of think about is maybe Buddhism, even though I'm not very close to it. But I like the whole idea of meditation and just letting everything go. So sometimes I like to think of myself as some sort of Christian Buddhist pagan. So I never really quite fit in any particular religion, although occasionally I do go to a Unitarian Universal Church where it's okay to be a Christian Buddhist pagan, which is kind of nice. So anyway, just I don't have a whole lot of advice for now, except if you're feeling like I am, which is I suppose a little scared, and with our new world order and just needing a feeling of safety, to just realize that you can find that emotional security within yourself. It's not necessarily a physical place, that you can find it within your own mind, in your own sanctuary, and just find that loving comfort and take care of that inner child. Okay. Well, that's all I'm going to say for today, and love you and have a wonderful day.